your core, yourself, you're the thing that you work on first. But then after that, because like I said, you're in the major leagues and you got to do everything you can, not just a little bit, because you're growing up against people who are working on their stuff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Then you got to do the same. And so you get your body going well, you get your voice going well, you pick up an instrument, you learn to play an instrument, you learn to dance. You acquire a whole bunch of skills, because you never know when they're going to say, "Oh, it's a great part, but you know what? We need a dancer." That's when you say, "Oh, well, I can dance, by the way. I know how to salsa, and I know how to tango, and I know how to break, and I can actually even do the Lindy Hop." And so you need to be prepared for when the door opens. Like I tell young kids, the door will open for you, but you need to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then that opportunity might pass you by.
If you're a professional actor challenged by an increasingly fragmented industry, then this podcast is for you. The Hollywood Actor Podcast is an anthology made up of the stories of actors building their bodies of work by redefining themselves, reframing their goals, and reevaluating their opportunities. No matter where we are in our careers, we're always looking to be inspired and to share ourselves across our community. This podcast offers that opportunity to guests and to listeners alike, as we all discover what it means to be a working, professional, successful actor. This is Jamie Young, and you're listening to the Hollywood Actor Podcast. Today's guest is Valente Rodriguez. Valente received his BA from the University of Texas Pan American and his MA from the University of Texas-Rio Grande Valley. His credits include ABC's George Lopez and the films McFarland USA and Blood In, Blood Out. Watch for the thriller film Countdown, available October 2019, and follow Valente on his Facebook fan page and on Instagram. Now let's talk shop with Hollywood actor Valente Rodriguez.
I was born dirt poor, a migrant farm worker, youngest of 8. None of my older brothers and sisters graduated high school, let alone go on to college. Just a hard, had no phone, had an outhouse, all that kind of stuff. Just all the things you can imagine of that life. And so somewhere around my freshman year, maybe my 7th or 8th grade year, I started trying to figure out, what do I want to do? And I certainly didn't want to be a migrant farm worker. And a lot of the examples that I have from my brothers and sisters were bad examples. So I knew what not to do. And so the only thing they hadn't gone through was education. And so one of the things that sort of life, that migrant life, prepares you for is hard work and quick work. You got to learn your situation fast, and you got to adapt to it fast. And so all these things you can move towards schooling, and sitting in math class is certainly a lot easier than picking cotton in Texas, right? And so that realization was real fast in my head. And so I figured education was going to be it. And so I was going to be a lawyer, because a lot of people ask me, do you always want to be an actor? And I tell them, I don't remember the first thing I wanted to be, but I do remember the first thing I didn't want to be. And I didn't want to be dirt poor, not the way we were. And so in my mind, because I didn't know better, I thought lawyer. Lawyers are rich. I'm going to work for IBM. I'm going to be a corporate lawyer. I'm making a lot of money. Fortunately, I had some really amazing teachers in high school and also in college, and they steered me towards what they thought was something that I would like, because I was loud, and I was funny, and I was the class clown, and I was that sort of stuff, mostly to cover for the poorness. Some people say they use laughter to deflect, right? Well, that's pretty much what I was doing. But then the first class I took in college was something called Pan American Summer Stock. Now, Pan American was the university down in South Texas, and Summer Stock they did 4 plays in 5 weeks. And so it was a whole company of about 35 kids and some professors. And in those 4, 5, 6 weeks, you built the set, you cast the show, you rehearsed the show, and then you performed the show. And that was it, man. I took that class and it was like, this is it. I can't imagine I can do anything other than this. And then, of course, eventually, not thinking I'm going to be an actor, but once I got to college, I thought to myself, I really don't want to be a lawyer. And if I get a college degree, I'll never be poor again like I was poor, that sort of poorness that I come from. And so I don't really necessarily need to be rich. I just don't need to be that kind of poor. And a teacher's salary would be enough. And so then here comes 20, and I really fell. I mean, it bit me hard. When I got the bug, it bit me hard. And so it's all I did. It's all I must have done. I don't know, maybe 100 shows, maybe even more. Oh, it was crazy, man. I was doing community shows and church shows and theater shows and school, all of my free time was shows. Not that I wasn't partying in college, don't get me wrong. I was, but most of the time it was theater. It was theater. And one of the things I need to say about that right now is that if you're going to be an actor, that's the best training. Now, you can want to be famous, you can want to be rich, you can want to be a celebrity, you can want to be all kinds of things. But if you want to be an actor, a person who knows his trade, a person who knows what it is to do, who knows how to go through a script, who knows about objective and super objective and all these other kind of things that you learn in acting school, theater is your training ground. That's your training ground. It's not TV and it's not film. Television is a writer's medium. Film is a director's medium. It's theater that is the actor's medium. So if you want to be an actor, my first piece of advice would be go do theater, do theater, do theater, do theater. That's what I did. I did theater. I eventually figured out I didn't need to be a lawyer. And then I was about to graduate, and it was like, okay, what am I going to do now? So I was 22. I graduated 22, didn't have any responsibilities. I thought I should go out and try to be a professional actor. And, but I had no money. Remember, I was poor. So I thought, what the hell am I going to do? So I applied for graduate school, got into graduate school there at Pan Am. The reason I applied for graduate school is so I could apply for a school loan. Got a $3,000 loan, took $500 of it, paid for school, took the $2,500 and stuck it in the bank. At the end of those semesters that I was in graduate school, that's the money I used to come out to Los Angeles. The $2,500 worth of loan. While I was doing this, there were several people that were very supportive, but there were the majority of them were like, well, okay, we'll see you in 6 months. And I was 22, and I thought to myself, I'm going to give myself till I'm 35. I'm going to go to LA till I'm 35, and at 35, I will reassess and go, okay, it's working. Let's keep doing it, or it's not working. Let's go do something else. I was very fortunate that when I first got to LA, and now the training at Pan Am, I did all the training they had, everything, the acting classes, the music classes, the voice classes, the diction classes, the dance classes, anything they offered, I did, and some of them I did 2 or 3 times. And so when I got to Los Angeles, I was nervous about, am I going to be what they need, what they want to employ? I wasn't nervous about somebody's going to hand me a script and I'm not going to know what to do. I was so confident in my training that no matter what, because I had done Shakespeare, I had done Chekhov, I had done Beckett, I had done O'Neill, I had done Neil Simon, I had done tons of stuff. And that's where that experience and doing all kinds of theater really, really puts you at another level, because most of acting isn't so much how good are you, but what is it that you have that makes people want to watch you? Is it the charisma? Do you make people laugh? Do you every person who's successful, for every George Clooney, for every Brad Pitt, for every Valente Rodriguez, for every Carlos Carrasco, for every whomever it is, there has to be something inside you that you can use to move forward in your career, some kind of something. And if not, then you got to really ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? Because it's way too hard and way too difficult to be doing it if you really don't want to do it, because you think you might want to be a celebrity or because you think you might want to be famous. There are easier ways to become famous and to become a celebrity than being an actor. As a matter of fact, I probably will guarantee you that if you become an actor, you're probably not going to be famous and you're probably not going to be successful. You're not going to be making any money. That's just the numbers thing. Over 70% of our actors make less than $15,000 a year. That's crazy. More than half of the actors don't make enough money to support themselves at just acting.
That's below the
So those
poverty
numbers,
line.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Those numbers are crazy. So don't, man, if you don't need to do it, don't do it. Go do something else, or keep it as a hobby. I'm
But you
sorry. Go
really
ahead.
set yourself up for success being in university. And like you said, you really pieced together that conservatory training for yourself, taking those classes again and again
I
to,
did.
to
I
really
did.
find those things within yourself that could then be marketable in a larger market like Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
Yeah. But you know what? I didn't do that at the beginning thinking that's what I'm going to do. I did it just because I liked it. Just because I just enjoyed the hell out of it so much that I wanted to do it again, you know? And
Well, that's
so
what keeps us engaged. I think when I've been talking to different actors on the podcast, it's that true love, that true passion that really keeps. That we've got to work on keeping that fire alive for us throughout the lifetime of our careers. But it's that first spark that does keep us engaged. It's not all the business stuff that we do learn in different classes or along the way, and those are things that help us plug in. But that's not what we're really in this business for.
totally agree. Totally agree. You got to love it so much that you got to work 16 hours at Starbucks during the day to then go to a rundown theater at night, donate all your money, donate all your time, work till 3 in the morning painting the, you're doing everything, painting the sets, building the sets, all that kind of crap, sewing your own costumes, go till 3 in the morning, then wake up at 7 in the morning because you got to go to Starbucks again to make more money so you can. It's like a drug. It's seriously like a drug, man. You got to get your fix. You got to get your fix. But you're right. You're exactly right.
That
Is that
reminds me of a
that's
story when I did the Texas trilogy. Preston Jones, we did that in New York. We were converting. It was like a fellowship hall at a church, and they let us take over that space. And there was like lead paint that we're chipping off. We had like the little masks on just to make sure, they probably weren't doing anything. But yeah, we were just really trying to make that fellowship hall breathe that play, be that real scene, setting that scene for ourselves. And plus, that was maybe a cheaper way we could afford a venue on the Upper West Side.
Oh, heck yeah. Any kind of venue, anywhere in New York are crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, so I got to LA and I was again, I had some really amazing teachers. Kent Smither in high school, Marion Monta, Doug Hawley, uh, Dr. Stanley. I've been blessed with really, really good teachers, but this is what I find about teachers is that when they get a student that's got fire in them and is moving towards something, and you go to them and say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about this or I'm thinking about that, they really get excited about that, and people will come out of the woodwork to help you move towards what it is that you want to do. And so I could not have done it without them. As a matter of fact, they almost guided me or pushed me towards the things that they thought were going to almost awaken me to the world and to the possibilities and to the, because again, man, I'm a little migrant kid from working in the cotton fields, and as uh, educated and eloquent as I sound now, none of that was there back then. You know, I was wide eyed and had no idea. And so their training and their preparation really set me up well. So then by the time I got to LA, I had a name of an agent, and I had an old, I don't even know if you remember these, the old VHS, the really old VHS, the 3/4 VHS. It looks like a brick almost. Um, um, I had some archival footage from some of the plays I'd done, and so I walk into an agent's office, and all the agents tell you this: "Do you have your card?" And what they mean by that is, "Are you a member of the union? Do you have your union card?" And you say, "Well, no, I just got here, right?" They say, "Well, I can't. I'm not going to represent you. I can't represent you if you don't have your card. There's 1,000 actors with cards out there trying to find agents. So they're already there, and you don't even have your card, and so I can't represent you." So you say, "How do I get a card?" "Well, you get a job." "Well, how do I get a job?" "Well, you get an agent." "Well, how do I get an agent?" You get that whole catch-22 crap. And so that happened to me, right? And so I'm at that. She says this to me. I say, "I don't have a card." She goes, "I'm sorry, I can't represent you, but you know what? I got 5 minutes. Come on in and let's talk." And so I went in there and talked with her for 5 minutes. And I'm leaving, and I noticed that she has a VHS recorder, right, hooked up to her TV. This was back in 1987. That's how long ago it was. And back in the dark ages, before internet and email and fax and all that kind of stuff. And I say, "Terry, I notice you have a VHS. I have a VHS tape. It's just archival footage from plays back in South Texas. Could you do me a favor? Could you look at it? And if I suck, just tell me. You know, if I'm terrible, just say, you suck, go away, go do something else." And she laughed at that, and she goes, "Okay, yeah, I can do that for you." And so she took the tape, and then the next morning she calls. She goes, "Valente, I still can't sign you, man, but I'm going to send you out on a couple of things. We'll see how you do." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" The first thing she sends me out on, a movie called Salsa, the motion picture. Terrible movie, but I got it. 8 weeks. Starting working 8 weeks on a film, January 1988. And so that was the first. And of course, after I got the job, then she signed me. So that was the first big break, was that idea that was 5 months after I got to town, which is just, it doesn't happen. I mean, it does happen. Obviously, it happened to me, but most of the time, no, it doesn't happen like that. Most of the time, you spend 3, 4, 5, 6 years just trudging away, finding a theater company, finding people that you groove with, finding your space, understanding who you are, growing up, really. Because at 22, you're not, you're 22, but you're still not. And you're coming from a small town, you're going to a big town, and you're trying to break into an industry. So it takes a lot of things. Um, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And sometimes it's just being at the right place at the right time. Of course, you always have to be prepared. And I tell this to young actors, and I'll tell this to your audience. You want to be an actor, you come out to LA, you're going to find a job. You will find a job. There's so many jobs, you will find a job. Eventually, you'll get an acting job. The question is, are you going to be good enough and prepared enough to get the next job, and the job after that, and the job after that? Because people find out really fast whether you got your stuff together or not. And word gets around really fast whether you got your stuff together or not. And so the key is not so much the first job, but the key is to stay engaged and to stay energized enough to go get the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth, and then build on that, and not stagnate. And you can even stagnate when you're working, because you're working so much. You're working this week, and then you're off for 3 weeks, but then you got another job, and then you got another job. And so you take those 3 weeks off in between. That's the worst thing you could do. You don't take time off. We're not, you can relax and still be thinking about acting. You can still be working on your craft and relaxing at the same time. But if you completely forget about it, you're in the major leagues, man. You get to LA, you're in the major leagues. LA, New York, Chicago, right? So you're going up against people with degrees from Juilliard's and Yale and Harvard and the Conservatory and Lambda and RADA. You're going up against people who have been acting since they were 2, who have movies. They were doing movies when they were 6. Their dad's a cinematographer, blah, 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 right? So you're going up against the best in the world. You cannot afford not to be your best. Nobody can do second best here and still survive. Maybe if you've got, talent coming out your butt, you might be able to do that. But most of us know it's a struggle. It's a struggle to find a character. It's a struggle to understand a script. It's a struggle to deal with your own mind about, okay, it's all right that I haven't auditioned in a week. It's okay that I haven't worked in a month. It's okay that I haven't worked in 6 months. As long as I am constantly moving forward, I'm writing a script, I'm doing a reading, I'm doing a radio show, I'm doing a show in the mall for free, I'm doing whatever it is, do something, keep doing, keep moving. It's not always going to be for pay, but all of that stuff is going to set you up better later on.
Thanks for listening to the Hollywood Actor Podcast. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening.